So good afternoon to one and all present on this webinar session. So it's a honor and privilege for me to get in touch with Dr. Abiodun Paul to have this wonderful session conducted to all the students or aspirants who is looking forward to complete their thesis with Texila American University for the master's and doctoral level. And here to introduce myself, my name is Raj. I'm the Chief Admissions Officer from Texila American University, and I have Dr. Abiodun Paul Olaya. It's an honor to introduce Dr. Abiodun Paul Olaya, a distinguished epidemiologist with more than 12 years of professional experience in the field of public health. And he is currently serving as a technical officer in Health Emergency Preparedness and Response Team. And Abiodun Paul Olaya brings with them a wealth of expertise and proven a track record of making a significant impact in epidemiology and public health sector. So throughout his career, Abiodun Paul has demonstrated strong skills in various critical areas, includes case investigation, contract tracing, surveillance, health promotion, water sanitation and hygiene, and quality assurance. So notably, Abiodun Paul is a prolific contributor to the scientific community with over 55 scientific publications, and he is an author of 2 public health management books. So beyond his academic achievements, Abiodun Paul has actively engaged stakeholders at all levels, from region to sub-regions to national and to global, to drive a health policy development and implementation of strategical initiatives aimed at improving the public health outcomes. So his dedication to advancing public health objectives has earned him, including the most prestigious 2018 Outbreak Hero Award from the African Society of Laboratory Medicine, and in 2020, AFRI Safe Torch Bearer Award. So Abiodun Paul is a public health PhD, public health graduate from Texila American University, and he is a proud member of esteemed professional associations such as American Public Health Association and also an International Association of Public Health Logisticians. And he is also a member of Institute of Biomedical Science in UK and an African Society for Medical Laboratory, and among others. So please join in welcoming Dr. Abiodun Paul Olaya, a true leader, an innovator in the field of epidemiology and public health. So I'm welcoming you, Dr. Abiodun Paul. Now you can just start your session, sir.
All right, starting on the existing protocol, I want to sincerely appreciate the faculty for putting this thing together. This webinar we'll be having it, this should be our third or fourth years, coming up with a lot of innovative webinars. And I want to sincerely appreciate all the colleagues that make it to be here. I'm sure you're not going to regret this because it's an opportunity to learn from you, to learn from each other. It's an opportunity to rub minds together. One of the reasons why we are coming up with this webinar is because we saw a lot of students, PhD students, master students, thesis or dissertation hanging. And what do I mean by hanging? Some of them could not continue because maybe there was no guidance or proper guidance on ideas on how to go about this. So we said, let us see how we can support, our colleagues so that we can really help them, provide guidance, valuable guidance and insight to all of you that are doing your PhD and MPH students. Of course, you're already in the process of writing. And another thing is also to see how we can enhance your research skills. It's always nice to look at the bigger picture, okay? Looking at the bigger picture from the beginning, you need to know that anything you want to do, look at it from the bigger picture, not from the feelings. So one of the reasons why we are here, like one of the objectives is to enhance your research skill, by providing you some insights, how you can formulate research questions, how should you go about your literature review, how to you select your topics, your data collection, analysis of your data, and then how do you present your findings, which is also very important. Another thing is how can we improve our writing skill? Many of us, we have a lot of writing skill, but they are not put in use. That's one of my PhD students of recent. I saw that this person have a lot of capacity, just not just for dissertation, but she can actually write a lot of books because she's very skillful. So one of the aims and objective is to see how we can improve on our writing skill, maybe on your thesis, on your case study. Most of the case study, when it's being marked, we saw a lot of students are not getting the desired score. So we felt it's be nice to give ourselves a rotation to understand why this is very important. And another thing is to foster what we call the critical thinking. We want to foster our thinking among ourselves, encouraging us to begin to evaluate what are those existing literatures, your ability to really, to critically think and independent, in terms of getting things done. And another thing we are also looking out for is to address those common challenges. Please, on the chat box, you can tell me what are the challenges you have, being your thesis or dissertation. Please, on chat box, put those challenges there. What are those common challenges? What are the challenges? Is it title, topic? We want to really help you to solve those challenges. So what are the challenges you have in your thesis? Do you have problem with getting guide? Do you have problem in getting the work done? Majority of us here are very busy. We have one engagement or the other that is taking a lot of our time. So we would like to study, we want to learn from you. What are those common challenges that you are facing and how can we address them? How can we address them together? Another thing is how can we learn from different experienced experts? We can link you up to someone in the area of your field. So one of the major reasons is to see, let us learn from different experts here and from different parts of the world to see how we can actually make things better. So having said this, the title, as I said, is Navigating the Path to Thesis. That should be / dissertation, and I will tell you the reason later. Case study success. And we're looking at targeting MPH students and doctoral students. Now, this is not limited to MPH and PhD students. Why we said, because these are the people that have a lot of issues with their thesis, and most of the assessments I've done, I've assessed over 200 case study, just to give you an insight. And I saw why I've seen people scoring 100%, I've seen people scoring 80%, I've seen people scoring 50%. And I can keep asking questions, why are people having those low score? So these are the things we're trying to iron out in this webinar. So you have my WhatsApp, you have my my Skype ID. Later of the day, you can reach out to me if you need one-on-one coach, one-on-one opportunity to pick it up from where you are. And if you are aware of anyone in the class or anywhere in the world that have started this program, and when they get to the area of thesis or research, they stop, please link them up with me. I can provide some guidance for this person to pick it up from where it stopped, so that we can navigate it together and get to that success that we all desire. So if you are here, please tell me what are your expectations for this 1 hour, because an hour in US, is a lot of money. In UK, anywhere in the world, time is valuable. And when we lose it, so this an hour should be something that is more valuable, something that we can all appreciate. So please don't be free. If you want to chat with me personally, you have the WhatsApp, you can chat up with me. What are those challenges that you have? And then what are your expectations today? So that we don't go outside what you think are your expectations. Is that okay? So having said all this while we are here, I want it to be more interactive. It's not, we are going to be talking to ourselves. And as I said, we are not going to regret coming to do this thing together, okay? So what are the things we're going to be looking at for today? We look at what is thesis and dissertation? Majority of us does not know the difference between thesis and dissertation. So I want to ask a question in the class. We'll be asking, be full of expectation, because I'm going to be asking you a question about what do you understand by thesis and dissertation. The purpose of this is for us to learn and grow up from where we stop our thesis, our dissertation, and take it to the final level. What are the type of thesis or dissertation, and what should be the guide for, on thesis or dissertation? And then how do we come up with a thesis selection, topic selection? Many of us are having problem with the title. I was reviewing someone proposal today, and I look at the title is not a standard way of writing a title of a research topic. So I'm going to be telling you, I'm going to be giving you some few examples. And what are the processes involved in writing from, we're going to be describing the process from the beginning to the final level. And then for some of us that are already planning for our vivas, for our PhD viva, did your defense, what are those likely questions that we ask? And I see these questions keep coming many occasions of the time, and students not really getting you should be able to know what has been expected from you, because education has gone beyond you learning and cramming to pass. Education is a form of the current education should let you be relaxed in a relaxed mode, know what is being expected, and ability to boldly speak this out. Don't forget, this is an adult learning. And then we look at the case study. What are the contribution of case study? Why case study? And we'll now be using that to interact. So I don't know if there are any other things. 3 minutes. Are there things that you think is missed out here, or we can address it during the question and answer time? Okay. So it is assumed that it's clear to us. So I quickly move to the chat box and see what colleagues put there. Yeah, I see a challenge of working on the topic, okay, with a limited literature pool to assess regarding the topic. Yes. So this is also very important. A lot of people have a lot of challenges, so of getting topic, project title. So we'll be talking about that. My special title is, I don't know if it's appropriate, hospital acquired infections, what the society needs to know, a study of northern Nigeria. Yes, we'll be talking about this. We'll take our time to answer some of the questions. Somebody's also saying, evaluating the effectiveness of employee assistance program among traffic police. So we'll be trying to restructure this. I'm happy the colleagues are coming up. Please, if you're here to come up, you can put your project topic there. Let us look at it together. And that is why we are here. We're not going to be boring you with a lot of theory, a lot of theoretical discussion. What is this? So we should be able to go straight to say, this is my problem. How do you think the title sound? And what do you think should be the objective? So we can quickly answer the question here together. So please, colleagues, let's prepare. This is a question for, okay, my question is, you can put your expectation and what are the challenges you are facing. So some people are putting their topic and they're not sure of their topic. So they want more emphasis on it. And that is why people are putting on the chat box. So we still expect more people to put there on the chat box. What are your expectations for today's webinar? What do you think you're expecting? And then what are those main challenges? What are the challenges you have? And I said that my WhatsApp line is there. You can reach out to me on WhatsApp to say, okay, if you don't want to make it public, it's fine by me. And you can also write your question as an anonymous, so that you are not putting your name there. So you can write as an anonymous, somebody have done that. So I will address that to you and we can take it up from there. So is that okay? So we move. All right, so the first one is thesis and dissertation. And the question people keep asking, what is really the difference between thesis and dissertations? So in the class, do you know the difference between thesis and dissertation? Anybody can just raise up your hand, because I said it should be interactive. It should be something that we're taking something home. So what is the difference between thesis, when somebody said, I'm doing my thesis, and tomorrow the person is coming and said, I'm doing my dissertation, and you get confused. We are using two English. I don't understand what you mean. So please, what do you think is thesis? What do you think is dissertation? Can anybody help me? Can anybody say something? Don't forget, this is an adult class. No wrong answer. If you talk about anything you say, please, the chat box is open now. Anything you say, put it on the, not on the chat box, go to Q&A. You can put it on the Q&A. It's like the chat box is disabled. Maybe the faculty can help us enable it, but on the Q&A, you can put it there. What do you think is different between dissertation and thesis? Can anybody help us out? Just signify, raise up your hands, and we call you. Anyone? What is different between thesis and dissertation? Anyone from the class? Don't forget, there's no wrong answer. What do you think is the difference between thesis and dissertation? If anybody comes to you and said, I'm working on my thesis, and tomorrow the same person comes and said, I'm working on my dissertation. So what do you think is the difference? Can anybody try? Any colleagues, any of the colleagues, can you try?
So we have more people raising their hands. Yes, come on. So we have Saidu, Shul Sulaiman, Oluwatosin, Rosemary raising their hands. So you can just shoot out your questions to Dr. Paul.
Oh, okay. So so let's start from I don't know who is the first. So let me start with Sule. I will now move to Oluwatosin. Sule. Dr. Sule Suleiman, over to you, sir. Okay. I'm sure, did they have problem in getting themselves on mute? Please, can you tell Sule to unmute himself so that he can speak up?
Yes, Sule, I hope you can hear me. Can you unmute your mic, and can you able to speak from your end, please? So we have some questions that's coming up in the chat box. So, people started responding there. Maybe you can just look into that.
No, I will respond to the question type, sir. I just want them to, I want this class to be interactive, and
that's true.
Nobody can speak. Gilbert, Seidu, Sule, Oluwatosin, they all raised up their hands, but I couldn't hear any of them. So I don't know, maybe they don't have ability to raise up their hands. Can anybody raise up their hands? Okay, I don't have option to talk. Oh, okay. I cannot unmute. So Oluwatosin says she cannot unmute. Please, okay.
Okay.
All right. Maybe we can use the chat. We can still use the chat box, or they can just write for me. Let's move forward so that we save some time. Okay. All right.
Yeah, we can go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead. So you can write your answer on the chat box. What is thesis and what is dissertation? What is different? So I move forward now. All right. Okay. So when you look at the two words, thesis and dissertation, they are often being used interchangeably, even though there are some differences between the two. However, it depends on the academic system and the country. So here are just some little distinctions about them. In some academic system, especially in US, the term thesis is commonly used to refer to a project completed as a part of a master's degree program. Do you understand? In US, most of the time they say this is thesis. It's usually maybe for MPA students or for MBA, for anyone that just completed their master's. Okay. On the other hand, dissertation is typically referred to a research project completed as part of a doctoral degree program. So you need to have that clear understanding that interchangeably it could be used. Some can say I'm doing my thesis as for PhD. Some can say I'm doing my thesis, my dissertation as master. But in United States, this is a major difference. And then when you look at the scope and depth, thesis is generally shorter and less comprehensive than dissertation. And that's why for master students, when you submit your thesis, by the time you submit like 70 pages, 100 pages for your thesis, most of the time, some of us that's called thesis, we are okay. The standard from Texila, most of the time, we go from that 70, to 100. But for PhD, which is more of the dissertation, we're expecting it to be more broader. to be more comprehensively done. So it's usually focused on narrow research topic or question, I mean, involve a smaller research study or analysis. Dissertation on the other hand is typically more extensive. It's in-depth, okay? You provide more in-depth, you are writing more detail. So it often involves original research, a comprehensive literature review, and a more substantial contribution to the field of study. Your literature review for thesis and dissertation is not the same. For dissertation, for PhD, we are expecting you to write very, very comprehensively. Okay? You should spend a lot of time on, dissecting. Let me borrow the anatomy language. Dissecting everything that has to do with your title under your test, under your research, under your literature review. You should be able to search it from what is happening globally, maybe in US, in Canada. You come to Africa, you come to Asia, so you need to comprehensively list what are supposed to be there as your comprehensive literature review for that field. And that is what makes difference between the dissertation and thesis. So what is really the purpose? The primary purpose of a thesis is to demonstrate a student's mastery of a subject matter and the ability to conduct independent research. Okay? Ability to say, and to say, okay, I'm now a master of this particular subject. So a thesis aims to contribute new knowledge, one, or insight to a specific area of study, although the scope may be more limited compared to a dissertation. So dissertation, on the other hand, is expected to be a significant, to make a significant and original contribution to the field of study and often involve advancing, you can see that word, challenging, existing theory or practice. And that is why when students write some of their dissertation, and a lot of PhD dissertations are actually theses. And I believe we are beginning to see the quality of what a thesis is and what a dissertation is. So the quality is not the same. During our PhD, our work was going to around 200 pages, 180 pages. It has to be comprehensively done. It should be self-answered. On the master level, yes, you can write just to show that you are a mastery of this subject, and of course, you can conduct this research independently. So when that comes to examination process for a thesis, and dissertation may differ. In some cases, thesis may be evaluated by a committee of faculty members, which is what we do. You have your local guide that guide you, from the process of when you select the topic to the last level. Okay? Apart from that, you even up to the publication. So the same way, when it's going to be graded, it's also shared among different people to say, look at this first level of the thesis, what is being written, and another faculty member will also do an evaluation on your thesis. So you need to understand that, and it may require you to defend it orally. Not all master's programs that require defense. I have 3 masters. One of my masters, 2 of them require defense, 1 no. So it's not a must that you have to make a Bible for your master's program. It's all dependent, but in Texila, you must make a Bible because we're expecting you to produce a publication from this work. So a dissertation, especially for a doctorate degree, often involves a more rigorous examination process, such as a public defense where students are present and you defend your research findings in front of a committee of experts. So because you have now become an expert, you are not just a mastery of that subject, but an expert for dissertation. And when you say an expert, that means you'll be talking as an expert. Your explanation will be addressed as an expert, and that is very key, okay? So I've talked about difference between the thesis and dissertation, and I said thesis is more of the master's program, and dissertation is more of the PhD. But there are different types of thesis. Yeah, I'm not going to bore you so much because I just want to try to let you know you have the slide later. You can take your time to read about the slide. So these are common of this type of of thesis and dissertation that students may pursue. We have the traditional research or dissertation. This one is commonly type of thesis or dissertation where students conduct original research. You are collecting data. You are presenting data in a structural format that Texila has given to you. It includes sections like from introduction to literature review to methodology to research to discussion and conclusion. And of course, you have your abstract at the beginning. So another type is literature review thesis or dissertation. This one is focused on reviewing and synthesize existing literature. You look at what are those literature on a specific topic, and you can critique them and evaluate the body of the literature to identify what are those key themes, the key theories, what are those gaps in knowledge. And the goals of these is for you to come up with a comprehensive overview of existing research and propose future direction for study. You are not collecting data here. You are just looking at existing work that have been done, maybe your region, your country, and you make. So the next one is a case study thesis, and we'll be talking about case study later. This one involves an in-depth analysis of a specific case or a set of case. So you can read more about this because of the time. Practice-based thesis. This is type of thesis or dissertation that's commonly pursued in a creative field. For some of the students that may not be in public health, maybe you are in fine arts, you are in design, you are architecture, they do what we call practice-based thesis or dissertation, okay? And it's for the systemic review or what we call the meta-analysis. Here involve a comprehensive and systematic analysis of existing research studies on a specific topic. Students identify relevant studies, assess their quality. When they assess after the quality, they now move to synthesize the finding to draw a conclusion and make recommendations. This is one of the reasons why it's different from the literature review, okay? We have the theoretical framework. This one focuses on developing or refining a theoretical framework or model in a specific field of study. So students critically analyze existing theories, identify the gaps or limitations, and you can also propose modifications or a new framework to enhance the understanding of people in that field. We have the policy analysis thesis. Policy is also very important. In public health, we talk about public health policy. So in a policy analysis thesis or dissertation, here we're examining what happened to the development of this policy, what was the implementation, what are the impact of this policy in a specific context. For example, you develop a vaccine, what's called national vaccine policy. I was part of people that developed that for Nigeria for national vaccine policy. So you should be able to evaluate the effectiveness, application of this policy, and provide recommendations, for policy improvement or changes. So we have the applied research thesis, which involve application of research findings to solve practical problems or address real-world challenges. So students work with industry partners, organizations, NGOs, community to conduct research that have a direct practical applications, okay? And the theoretical analysis, this thesis and dissertation, this type involve a comprehensive analysis of existing theories, concept, framework in a specific field. So what do students do? They critically examine and evaluate theoretical perspective, look at the gaps, looking at are there contradictions, and propose new theoretical insight or modification. So having said that, it is very important that before you embark on your thesis or your dissertation for PhD students, you need to identify who are the people that are in my field of study, who are the people that are working in the same sphere or the same level of, the same field of study. And that is what I tag mentorship. So there are guides on thesis and dissertation topic. How do you select the topic? How do you come up with the title of your thesis or dissertation? Don't forget earlier on, I talked about the difference between the thesis which is mainly for the master student, and dissertation, which is mainly for the PhD students. So how do you select your topic? In the world, for example, the population of the world is what? We have 8 billion people in the world, right? And this world have 7 continents. I don't know if anybody knows the 7 continents of the world. So any part of the world you are, you need to understand what are the 7 continents in the world. We have the Asia, we have the Africa, we have the North America, we have the South American, we have the Antarctica, we have the Europe. Now, these are 7, and the last one is Australia, also known as Oceania. Okay? Some of these continents have they just exist as an entity, like Australia is just Australia. No other countries. But when it comes to Africa, Africa have about 54 countries. When it comes to Asia, Asia have countries in them. North America, South America, and the rest. So when you want to do or select your thesis, for example, if I'm in Asia, I need to look at what are those diseases, disease or common disease in, or let me use the word priority disease. What are those priority diseases, in those continents? When you look at Africa, for example, you have issues around malaria, TB, and HIV, tuberculosis. We have issue with a lot of outbreak in Africa. We are responding to over 100 outbreak events. Okay, so you move ahead to, for example, if you pick, I've talked about Africa, I've talked about the cholera, the Ebola. They are priority diseases. In Asia, what are those priority diseases in Asia? Malaria, dengue fever, tuberculosis, COVID-19. They are priority diseases. When you go to North America, what are those top, in North America, if you are, for example, if you're based in North America, you're in this section, you talk about the diabetes, the heart disease, cancer, influenza, and obesity. Why? The top 4 priority disease that accounted for 70% global death are actually non-communicable diseases. And what are they? Diabetes, heart disease, cancer, okay, and respiratory diseases. So if you are in North America, any research you are going to do, your priority research should focus on these areas. You cannot do a research that is not going to be cited. I have over 70 publications, but I can tell you the 410 of our publication was not good enough. You know why? They were not priority areas that the public health setting were looking out for. I started having H index, high H index, looking at my H index on Google Scholar later of the year when I discovered that, oh no, we now begin to prioritize what we need to. So in your country, look at those priority diseases, both communicable and communicable diseases, not communicable, communicable diseases that are priority to your country, and that is how you should select your topic. In South America, for example, if I'm based in South America and I'm on this section, I should be focusing on Zika virus, on Chagas diseases, leishmaniasis, dengue fever. If I'm now, maybe I'm not in those areas, I'm in Antarctica. Of course, there's not really a permanent population. People go to Antarctica and coming back. So we cannot say this, but because we don't. So if you are in Europe, for example, COVID-19 is still a priority for an European. Okay? Tuberculosis is still a priority in Europe. Influenza is a priority in Europe. Hepatitis B and C are priority in Europe. And there are other priority diseases. So when you want to select your topic or your title for thesis or your dissertation, you need to prioritize it based on those countries. And the last one is Australia. Australia, you talk about the issue of around diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, mental health issues, skin cancer, asthma. Even in US, in Canada, the same mental health issues are priorities for them. So they need you to solve some of these problems. So let's quickly run through the manual and see what is there because of time. So as I've said, you get a mentor or an expert on your field of study. If you want to select topic, get a mentor first. Get a local guide that can guide you thoroughly. The problem many of us are facing is because we don't have a guide that is very fast in public health. And it's good to get someone that is both academic and program experience. I'm not saying academic person may not be able to give you more information, but I have seen the trend that most of my colleagues that are academic guide that have not done program find it so difficult to understand those priority diseases in the country or any of the country to guide the student on the areas that are very, very important. So you need to understand the purpose of of what you want to do, the topic. So that means you need to understand the rationale behind your research endeavor. You need to understand that very, very important. What is rationale? Why am I doing this? Is it a priority for the country? What are the research background? I feel you need to get a lot of literature review to get a comprehensive knowledge of what you want to do. I usually tell some of my students, I said, please read about 32 pages, 32 current research on your work, maybe minimum of 20, and just send me the link. Let's discuss your topic. And from there, we get the topic. So clarity and specificity. So your topic need to be very clear. Avoid titles that are very generic or vague or fail to provide sufficient information. Relevancy and significance. How significant is your title? How relevant? It may be relevant in the state or a region. Is it relevant nationally? If it's not relevant nationally, you're likely not to get more citation. In academic now, it has gone beyond number of publications you have. And now it has moved to what your citation. You can have four publications and you have more citation than someone that have 20 publications. So you should be able to do a proper, work. Very important. Your work needs to be unique, and originality is also very important. Don't go and copy a topic from online because that is academic fraud and you are duplicating the same thing. It has to be unique. You have to come up with something unique. Your environment can make it unique. It has to be very coincident, and you also need to get useful feedback from colleagues. If somebody says, no, sorry, this is your research topic, be free. Don't be too emotional. Oh, this is a problem, and I want this problem to be solved. So we need to have that clear understanding that we need to get feedback, and don't be immune to feedback. Many people doesn't like to get feedback. They are very immune to feedback, okay? So what are the processes? I'm going to be talking about a few processes here. Of course, in your project, you have the title page, you have the abstract and summary, you have your background, which is also like in your introduction, you have your literature review, and then you have your materials and method, your research, your discussion, your conclusion. The acknowledgement can be up, actually, the references, and and the table can be under the result. Now, why are we just providing this? Every school, some of you may not be in Texila, but in Texila, we provide you a guide. We send you a copy of an abstract, a format, maybe that one that someone have done. We're not expecting you to do copy and paste, but we are providing this to guide you, which is also very, very important. So what are the tips? After you have getting your work, because I want us to be more practical. I'm trying to be very fast so that we move to the practical aspect of the work. Okay, so the arrangement is not a problem because if you're a student of Texila, we provide that guidance for you. Okay, so the next thing is after you have finished your work, you need to get your work published, and you need to learn to write. You need to learn to do systematic review. Your work should be accessed. Read and cite relevant primary sources. Cite right. Write up work ethically and well. Be careful of plagiarism. We've seen people that what they've published, they're bringing it back again to work on. No, it's lack of thinking, it's lack of guidance. And that's why we're providing this guidance for everybody in this class. So you need to ensure that your manuscripts are seen through, a peer review. If your manuscript is not peer review, be careful of people that just tell you we're publishing free, $5, $10, $20. They are predatory journals. So how do you have information on how to publish? After you have done your work, you read, you do a lot of journal databases, you listservs and network, consider printing. Ask yourself the following question: is journal reviewed to the right level? What is journal audience? How fast does it take to decide? We've sent a lot of work out that takes more than 1 year. So you need to also look at journal that they are published within a short time. And what is the journal impact factor? Are these journals listed on Scopus? Are they on Google Scholar? You need to ask those questions. Does this journal really exist? Or they're just dubious? Somebody just started sitting down one place, you go to their page. So, and this link, the last link here, we call it Baylor List of Predatory Open Access Journal. He listed those journals that are predatory. So before you send your work out and pay your money, go and check very well from Baylor List of Predatory Open Access Publishers. And if you are not there, not that maybe Baylor List have the autonomy to decide, but it serves as a guide to say, no, this is a red flag, okay? So, and what are the things that is also very important? I've talked about the Scopus. These are the things that they use to grade you. What is the impact factor of your work, of the journal? You also talk about the NG factor. Talk about the SGR, the SNP, the H index. All these provide you, there's what we refer to them as bibliometric indicators. And they are very, very important, to show the quality of job, that's how strong your work is. So you need to understand that what is the H index? Like now, all of you can go to Google Scholar, register your name. If you have ever published any journal, it will automatically, if your name is correct to that journal that was published, you will see it coming, coming well, showing your impact factor. It will show your H index. Sorry, I mean, it will show what is your H index. So when you talk about bibliometric factors, it's a quantitative measure that is being used to evaluate scientific research output and impact. So what is the output of your research? What is the impact of your research? So they are the indicators that provide a lot of deep insight to, number one, feasibility, influence, and quality of the scholar publication. And some of the examples, as I've mentioned, the H index, the citation, how they count your citations. Your H index is a measure of your productivity and your impact. People that are coming to cite your work to say this work is good. And when you talk about the GIF, the journal impact factor, is also very important. So the author's productivity, the collaboration indicators, the what we call the metrics, they're all very important. So this impact factor, how it's being calculated, you can find time to see how it's being calculated later so that we move. And these are countries, in Africa, for example, that are published. So we want to encourage colleagues from different parts of the world, please publish, okay? Don't be scared to publish. And we quickly move to the likely questions. When having done all your master's, your PhD viva, you finish, what are those likely questions that usually come out? Shortly, we usually ask about what is the background and rationale for this your research. We want you to explain the significance and rationale behind your research. And we usually ask at times we just see that the objective was not enough. And most of the time when you're writing the objective, let objective be around minimum of 4 to 5. Don't be putting just 2 objectives. It's too elementary. That is for BPH, Bachelor in Public Health. Okay, when you want to publish, it's become difficult because your research objectives are supposed to guide you. For example, if I have 6 objectives, I can use two objectives to provide a manuscript for publication, which is about 14 to 28 pages. Is that okay? So we also ask questions about your methodology. We ask questions about what are your research design, your data collection method, analytics, techniques that you use. We ask about your formula. What is the name of your formula and why do you choose that formula? These are the questions that we ask. Likely questions. So We also talk about your key findings. How are they going to contribute to the existing knowledge in your field? And many people, when you ask this question, they don't know that what the title, how it's going to contribute to existing knowledge, how it's going to benefit their country. So it becomes an issue. So we talk about the interpretation. How do you interpret your results? Are there limitations to your finding? These are questions that we ask. We also ask questions around theoretical framework. What are those theoretical framework? Conceptual framework. And people who does not know the difference between theoretical framework and conceptual framework. You need to have the understanding of the two. What is the difference between theoretical framework? Okay, so theoretical framework are based on established theory or concepts or conceptual model in a specific field or discipline. They provide you, some element of foundation for you to understand what, number one, the principle, the concept, relationship that guide your research. They help the researcher to develop what are those hypotheses. It helps you to know what are your research method and interpret your findings. Okay? So you need to understand that theoretical framework are more of abstract and generalizable, which provide you a broad perspective or a topic of research. But when you talk about conceptual framework are just specific to a particular research study. It is not all study that have theoretical framework that have conceptual framework. Is that clear now? Because I have seen many people submitted their PhD thesis and MPH thesis, and they said, no, you don't have, there's no way this your work will have a conceptual framework because it is particularly to different study. So they align the key concepts. They talk about the variables, relationship that exists, which can be explored in your study. That is conceptual. So they provide a roadmap of organizing and structuring your research. They help you as a researcher to define what are those your research questions and objectives. Okay? So if you want to really understand, in summary, is that the theoretical and conceptual framework are important to research. So the theoretical framework provides a broader theoretical lens and foundation, while the conceptual framework is more specific and tailored to a particular research study. So don't mix it up. When we ask, maybe when it's time for question, we go there, but please, and the contribution to the field, I've mentioned that implication and recommendations, ethical considerations, reflection on research processes, these are likely questions that we usually ask people when you are defending your thesis and your PhD, okay? So for case study, this is where I'm going to wrap up before we move quickly to the question, because there are a lot of questions waiting there and we need to attend to all of them. Case study, I'm not going to spend more time here, just maybe 5 minutes. Case study is accounted for 30% of your score. What do I mean? In a particular subject or a course, maybe you are doing pure and applied epidemiology, for example, as a course, your case study is 30%. While others, like your weekly test, your examination, the FSI, faculty student interaction, all accounted for 70%. Your case study is 30%. And that is why you need to take it very, very seriously. And most of the time, when I see people answering case study, most of the time, people at the PhD level just give me 1 or 2 pages. And I've seen people that have 28 pages, 20 pages, based on the question of the case study. So your case study should be like a full research. Take your time, don't rush. Take your time to write like you are doing a project. Because it's a 30 marks. Is that okay? It can determine how far you're going to go. For PhD, we're expecting you to go beyond just what you have on your manual. We are expecting you to be more detailed. Okay? Want you to go more to search more about case study. So why do we test people on case study? Because it provides students an opportunity to apply the knowledge and skill you've learned in a real world context. It gives you it helps you to have a critical thinking. You look at things from multiple perspectives, you think outside the box, it gives you options, different options to evaluate different options, to look at what is the implication, what is the justified for this reason. And it's also helping you in decision making. Because majority of us here are managers. So we give you case study to see how detailed are you. When you pick this document, how can you pick up answers from this document? Even without, while you avoid plagiarism and you are doing a quality job. So it helps you for decision-making skill, okay? So another thing is a problem-solving ability. Case study help you, to solve a lot of problems. As I said, you think outside the box, you look for that real journal online, you read through, okay? It helps you to talk about collaboration and communication. How do you communicate? How to work effectively in a team, how to share your ideas, how to pick when people are talking. You can pick what somebody is saying silently. So case study help you. It helps you to have a real world preparation. So, and that is also very, very important. So, as I said, it's 30% of your total score for any course that we'll be doing. This is where I'm going to stop now because of the time, so that we address the questions. So I move to the questions, and I'll start from the first questions. It has a challenge on a topic with a very limited literature pool to assess regarding the topic. I have someone that also have this problem before. There was one of my colleagues that was looking at the evaluation of the industrial strike action on supply chain management in Nigeria. Don't forget, Nigeria has a population of over 200 million people, and the supply chain system is very big. However, there are a lot of industrial strike actions that happen in the country. And when that happened, it disrupted the supply chain management. And then Dr. Services felt, let me research into this. Possibly, we can provide a solution to say, these are the things that we need to do as country. So if you have limited literature pool on a particular topic, as I said, my colleagues have difficulty by the time it came to the level of discussion. Because in your discussion, you're supposed to be discussing your work based on the findings from different countries. For example, you can pick from US. You look at your findings. Is there similar work in US? If there's no similar work, you already started having problem. If you go to Asia, are there similar work done in India or in China? If there's none, you started having problem in your discussion. Because if your finding said, among women of lactating mother that are diabetic, maybe their, what do you call it? Something about them is, you talk about the findings to say 2% of them is responsible for ABC. So you should be able to please, there's a pool launch. You can look at the pool and see how far these webinars have done for you and what has it contributed to what you've learned. So please, there's a pool launch. Try to fill it on your system. So be careful of where you have a limited literature, but that does not mean that you cannot go ahead to select topic where that is of priority for the country. Is that okay? All right. So number two, somebody is talking about dissertation title. It's talking about the hospital acquired infection. Yes, hospital acquired infection. I'm coming. And he put a column. Is that what the society need to know? So is a study in northern Nigeria. Now, the truth of the matter is that hospital, is it for master or PhD? I don't know if it's for master or PhD. Okay, so if you want to rewrite this, for example, you cannot just put this topic like this. You can rewrite it in a way that is different. You can say evaluating hospital acquired infection. Okay, or you say hospital acquired infection, raising awareness in northern Nigeria, a study, and you have to be more specific because northern Nigeria have to be about 19 states in northern Nigeria. Do you want to do it in north central, northwest? Do you want to do it in north central? So you have to be more specific with your title. So you can evaluate an hospital-acquired infections. What society needs to know, a study in North Central Nigeria. And then what would now be your objective? If you put this, one of the objectives that I will suggest to you for this, number one, because you are trying to look at what could be the problem. So your first objective will be to assess the prevalence and the type of hospital-acquired infection in healthcare facility in northern Nigeria. You need to know that first. What are the prevalence of hospital-acquired infections? What are the types? Number two, what are those risk factors that is contributing to the occurrence of hospital-acquired infections? It may be waste management, it could be anything. You need to find out as part of your objective. You need to also understand to evaluate the knowledge and awareness of healthcare workers and even the general public regarding the hospital-acquired infection. Another thing you look for is the existing infection, the IPC, where I'm going to stop. And the last one may be to provide recommendations to the stakeholders. So I move forward because of time. So I think I've answered that. Yes. So I'm trying to attend to the question. So the effective tool for primary, another question here. Let me see if I've answered the second question. Okay, the third question is, what are the effective tools? The effective tool for primary data analysis. I don't know if this is a research title or it's a question. Okay. Now, when you say effective tool for primary data analysis, there are different tools existing globally. So you need to really understand the kind of primary data you are interested in. If it's an health data, you look at the tool that is being used there. So if you want to assess tools, looking at effective tool for primary data analysis in a program environment, is different from when you want to do it in a research environment. Okay? In most of the things that we use for academic, we use SPSS. I think the current version is about 28 now. SPSS. But when you talk about the effective tool for that can be used, maybe you can use the spreadsheet software, you can use Microsoft Excel, you can use Google Sheet for data collection. You can use a lot of tools, ODK, just to organize and manipulate, large data sets, like, and it can also help you to perform some basic calculation, formula, but for academic, most of the time we use SPSS, and then you need to learn how to use SPSS. SPSS is a statistics package for social sciences. So, and what does it do? It's a software package widely used in our social sciences research and in public health research, to analyze your data for data management. It's very user-friendly. You go on YouTube, you read more about it. It allows you to conduct tests such as you want to know what is t-test, you want to know what are the ANOVA, the regression analysis, the factor analysis, and many more. So it gives you a lot of this, this information. So, how to identify a question and how to find a topic for PhD. So thank you, Bivius Mutume. Now I want you to, and for PhD students, I love consistency. What do you do in your first degree? What do you do in your master's? You have to be consistent to be an expert in an area. Don't forget, PhD is a dissertation, it's for experts. So if you are working on, like I was guiding a student a few days ago, if you are working on communicable disease and you want to move to non-communicable disease, it's fine. But don't move from environmental to something that is to a complete environment that is different from what you did in your master's. If you are going to academic, they can't those things. Yes, for people that are working in NGOs, it may not be too important. So how do you identify a question and how to find a topic? For example, I told you there are a lot of things in your country. What are the communicable diseases, non-communicable diseases that are priority? What are the environmental problems that are priority in your country? And then when you look at public health himself, what are those branches of public health that you need to know? So understand, and where are you working? I love people to work in their areas of work or the areas of where they like to work. So that will help you. The branches of public health, we have the epidemiology, and epidemiology is so large. You can specialize in epidemiology. You can pick topic from looking at maybe there's an outbreak of a disease in your country. Why are we having this outbreak? Why are we having increased cases of suicide in my country? Why are we? So those priority areas should be the topic of your interest. And when you pick that, you can look for someone like a mentor to guide you, to say, I want to work in this area. And all of you will come together and say, okay, this is the topic. And I can also support the process. We have the biostatistics, we have the environmental health, health promotion and behavior, health policy and management, global health. There are more of branches of public health. Is that okay? So we can reach out to me and we can always discuss this anytime, any moment, so that you have a clear understanding of what is expecting you, what the school or what is expecting from you. Because one thing is to do a research, another thing is for that research to be cited. So I move to the next. My expectation is to develop a literature review and a concept paper. No. Yes, literature review. You cannot develop ordinary literature. To develop literature review. Now, how do you develop a literature review and concept paper? Concept paper, it all depends. There are two different things. For Dr. Already, concept paper could mean, like somebody can ask you, we want to increase the vaccination, we want to bring COVID-19 vaccination to South Africa or to Ghana. And somebody asks you, can you please come up with a concept paper? Concept paper is not more than 2-3 pages. And what are you going to do there? Number one, the title, the cover page. Maybe the reason why you have to bring extra vaccine or COVID-19 vaccine to that place, to that country. The next one is going to be the introduction. Why are you bringing this? You talk about the justification. You talk about the problem that is existing. That is the justification. Why you need this COVID-19, vaccine to be brought to where you are. And you talk about the challenges. Right there, you can presume. It may not necessarily, your concept paper or concept note may not really have, how would I say it? It may not really have budget, but it just like a concept of what you really want to do. So let me just break it down. A concept paper is a comprehensive and detailed document that provides an in-depth description of a proposed project. But in academia, we don't use concept paper. We call it proposal. Is that okay, sir? So while a concept notes, it just like, a concise, just give a overview, but all of them are aiming at seeking fund. So when you say concept paper or concept note, the aim is to seek maybe to get a funding or to get a support or to get anything. But literature review is different. Your literature review, how to develop a literature review is a function of your title and your objective. So your literature review, what should make your literature review, because there was no time because of the way we are rushing. I think we'll be finishing very soon, but we'll try to wrap up, please. So literature review, what are the things like the context of literature review? Your literature review will talk about different things that are related to your topic. You first of all look at existing literatures and you cite them. This person is working this. In your literature, you talk about the definitions. You talk about some definitions of some terms, some terminology. You talk about some explanation of some things. Maybe you are working on DM, diabetes type 1, type 2. You talk about pancreas. You describe pancreas. You now talk about different work that have been done. So in your literature review, it involves you reviewing and analyzing existing published literatures on that topic that is interest to you. And you now begin to write them, your research topic. You begin to look at it. Is it clearly in line with your research topic of your question of interest? You look at the scope of work and you look at the strategy, are you going to look for academic journal? Are you going to look for books? Are you going to look for conference proceeding, online databases? What are those keywords? What are the selection criteria, the data structure? So you need to begin to look at different literature review. What literature review is doing is providing you a critical analysis of existing research, helping you to identify what are those gaps and areas for further investigations. And you then establish the context and justify for new research. That's what literature review does. So I move forward to the next. Thesis and can be used interchangeably. I said it, Carlo, maybe you came late. I said thesis and dissertation can be used interchangeably. Yes. Thesis are more of students, masters. Yes, I've clarified that. The thesis is academic requirement and the dissertation will be practical. It all depends. Some PhD are taught PhD. Some are just by research. Is that okay? But we are streamlined to Texila American universities, what is need to be done. Another thing is thesis for masters and dissertation for doctoral. Yes. So I think thesis is for PhD, while dissertation for master. No. We've clarified that because thesis has dissertation are more detailed. There is a base of existing work. Dissertation is for my thesis is existing work. No, we've explained that. Okay. Thesis is based on existing evidence-based, while dissertation need further study for more analysis. I think I've explained all this, that thesis, difference between the thesis. I think this one came up maybe when I was trying to explain. Already said no option, no provision for me to, okay, there's thesis involve additional research on existing work, while dissertation involves of a new knowledge. Yeah, they are all good, but thesis is more of the master's, while dissertation is more of PhD, and I've explained that in the slide. Thesis is going into research to bring up intervention to an yes, thank you. That is also good from Tosin. Yes, this person is saying leveraging seasonal malaria chemotherapy to bridge immunization access and equity gaps. So this is a topic, Dr. John Bauer, but you can also say, where is this happening? Is it happening in Ghana, or which part of regional Ghana? Is it northern Ghana or northern Nigeria? So we need to leverage it and streamline the title. Leverage seasonal malaria chemotherapy. So are you evaluating, or you are assessing, or you are trying to examine if we leverage seasonal malaria chemotherapy to bridge immunization access to quality gaps? Our topic should be in a way that it should form a topic, it should be, I don't know how to say it, it should be topic, but this is a good topic. It's a good topic for Dr. Bauer. But what I'm saying is that we should be able to try to bring it up in a way that people reading it will understand that this is a topic, this is a dissertation topic, or
it should be more innovative.
Yes.
And it should be more innovative, and it is corresponding to their job needs, so they can identify the topic which they really wanted to do, where they have worked, and they've been spending the rest of their work, so that there should be some changes, that the innovation topic they're bringing bring some changes in the community.
So that this topic can be Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so that's how they can able to plan themselves. It depends upon the geographic locations and type of the diseases that's spreading in the community. They can pick up the innovative topic, and and the topic should be relevant to their job, so that they can cooperate with the job, and they'll ultimately get satisfied with what they're doing at the end of their PhD.
Absolutely, I agree with you, sir. And this is one of the things I got from Texila about 6 years ago when I finished my PhD, because that helps me to write. Okay, so it was very useful for the job. So like this topic, for example, you can say bridging immunization access and equity through seasonal malaria chemotherapy. it's also the same. So in case of TAU and UCM for PhD, what time do we use? Yeah, it all depends on what for us. I'm not sure we really particular, but we make sure that we guide you thoroughly to get a quality things. Tailor enzymatic and nano-based treatment of wastewater, yes, to detoxify heavy metals and degrade antibiotics. Sample sites, a waste site used in irrigation in Kano State. Yeah, it's good. This person want to work on waste water. I've also supported a student that work on wastewater, and we find out a lot of antibiotics. We find out a lot of the family planning commodities. We find out a lot of drugs on wastewater. So it's very, very important. As a matter of fact, in some countries, they do wastewater analysis like South Africa. So it's something that we're supposed to do regularly. And because it's also very important, we find COVID-19 in wastewater, we find cholera in wastewater. So Senab, Dr. Senab is very key. That title is also very key, but we can modify. You can reach out for more. So optimize a child nutrition. Yes, a community-based intervention on the complementary feeding practice of children among, yes. This is also very, very good topic because nutrition contributed to the top 10 diseases in the world. As I've mentioned, the top 4, the top 10 diseases are strongly linked to nutrition. So any topic linked to nutrition, especially the breastfeeding, is very important because a lot of things are not, parents find it difficult to breastfeed now. So this is a topic of interest that even Nigeria or any part of the world would like to see. Thank you, Oluwatosi, for that topic. It's a very nice topic. Tell us thematic and, okay, I think we've addressed this. Yeah, okay, I think we'll try to. So we can collaborate and do this. Yes, it's something that can collaborate. And as I said, we can also get a mentor. Any country you are, I have colleagues from few countries. You can get some mentor there to guide you, especially in your areas of study. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Ishaku. Ishini. Okay, what's the standard and acceptable word count? For Texila, as I said, for PhD, if you have, for master, maybe if you have 100 pages, but for PhD, we want it to be more than 100 pages. It's actually very good. But Texila have a guide, you can read through about the guide. But for me, if I love to see PhD work that is more comprehensive. Okay, we've answered Dr. Augustine. Martins, Dr. Martins, different type of thesis or no type require preparation and protocol. Yes, I will just try to talk about different types of thesis. Okay. The one we do here is traditional thesis, which was number 1. You pass through the ethical committee, and for people that need to do their research, it's better to come up with a proposal quickly and submit for ethical committee for clearance ahead of the time, because ethical committee can also take some about 2 weeks, some up to 6 months. So it's always good to, if your research work require ethical committee, please try to do your proposal and submit and apply for ethical committee wherever you are. So the road to equitable access to immunization, leveraging on system, yes, we've said this is very, very good. Very, very good in Ghana, very good. So when selecting research topic for master, is it mandatory to find a topic which require read data? Yes, you can use a read data, but you must seek ethical approval to get that done. Please don't do data without ethical approval. You can use secondary data, you can use different study. So what is the recommended sample size for PhD study? Your sample size depending on your population, depending on what you really want to do. There's no really sample size to say this is the number of sample size. If, for example, you want to work among people that are drug abuse, that's a large population. If you want to work among MSM, that is some countries are not bigger. So you look at the number to calculate your sample size. And there are a lot of formulas online that can help you to calculate your sample size. You just put the population of those people there. You look at the prevalence of that study for different study and use. So we can talk more about this if you have the time. I'm trying to rush this question. Is it possible to select more than 200? No. For every sample size, try to use, it has to be calculated. You're not just selecting 100 or 500. You may not even need up to 300 participants. Is that okay to participate in your sample size? No. Thesis is next week, a master student from Spain. Yes. I'm planning to study protein using FTRL, and I'm finding it to come up with a research question. So you can reach out to me. We can look at the study protein using FITR. Yes, we can find out a lot of similar topic, as I said, read a lot of journals that have carried out a lot of research on study protein using FTRL. And then what is the significance of your study? How will it contribute to the life of people in Spain? Okay. My research topic is effect of autovisual acute flaccid. Yes, very important. Innovation on, yeah, this is a very good topic. Okay. But because we are trying to bring about innovation, looking at the factors, what are the challenges, and provide recommendations. It's a very good topic, Dr. Seidu. Taylor assignment, I think we've talked about this. Theoretical based theory from researcher, what's conceptual framework is based. Okay, I think I've tried to look at what is conceptual framework and what is theoretical framework, the differences. So we can talk about this. If you need more explanation, you can reach out to me on WhatsApp, and we can look at it. We've answered most of the questions here. So how many references do we need for a research proposal, and how many for a thesis? For thesis, as long as you cited this, references, you must cite all your references. I've seen a lot of work references, and none of them is on the citation. It's on the, so you need to, maybe one of the next things, faculty, sir, Mr. Raj, sir, you can help us. We can be going to the next webinar can be how we cite. How people can, when you are writing your literature review, how do you cite? It's automatic.
Okay.
We have a lot of software that we can share, so that when people are writing their literature review, he's citing it there, and it's also referencing your literature. Either you want Harvard, you want Harvard, anyone, is coming down there automatically. And I think we should go because I've seen a lot of work that the references and citations are not matched, and it's a very great error. So maybe the next webinar, we can be looking at that using a lot of software to cite, to reference,
All right.
and that would really help us. And maybe we can target AI, using AI to cite, to cite most of the things that we're doing. We can push that for the next webinar as soon as possible.
We'll do that.
Well, yes. So how many pages? We've answered that. How many publications are required? 2 publications for PhD. I think 1 for MPH. I will allow my boss to add more later after I finish. If there's any questions, I've missed out. Okay, I think I've answered some of these questions.
Some of the
Yes.
questions are all repetitive, so
I
maybe
repeat that.
we can just, yes. So we can able to just respond to them once after the end of the session. We can respond to them, and I think it's now we can able to end the session now, Dr. Abiod and Paul,
Yeah,
and
thank you.
we can able to continue. So those who have taken the time and participated in the webinar session, I would like to thank them all for spending your valuable time. So for more insights and valuable feedback, so we are always open to you. Either you can always contact me, or the Dr. Abiod and Paul's contact details is there. He has provided his WhatsApp line, or maybe if you want this presentation to be shared in the email, then probably we can send it to your email, and that's we can able to conclude this session for today. Is there anything that you wanted to talk to all the participants, Dr. Abiod and Paul, so that we can conclude this session?
Yes, I think for the I'm trying to share the material now, so that we don't need to be looking for it. So I'm sharing that now for anyone that may be interested. On this, I'm sharing it on this on the chat box. I don't think if anybody have received it. Yes, I've shared it now, so we can check it out. Can anybody see? Can you see it on the chat box? The PowerPoint.
Yes. The participants, the session is available. The PPT is available for you to download. So all the participants who are available, you can able to download this. Or if in case if you are facing any challenges or in downloading the PPT session, then probably you can just WhatsApp me. I'm just providing my WhatsApp line. That's a direct 24/7 line for any assistance at any point of time. If you feel any assistance is needed from Texila, you can always just contact me, and we can able to provide with all the details which is required for you to have your masters or PhD thesis completed on time. All right.
Okay. So please, people can reach out to my boss, as Riley said. And thank you everyone for your time. I rest my case now. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Abiran, for spending your valuable time. So, besides your tight work schedule, I understand that you have a lot of things to do, and it has always been my pleasure to travel along with you for all this 5 6 years down the lane with Texila. So I'm so honored to have you, and we're looking forward to have your support, and so that we can have more and more webinars for so that it will be a very informative session for all the participants and students of Texas American University. Thank you so much, Dr. Abiran Fall. Thanks for all your support.
Yes, sir.
All right, participants. Yes, thank you so much for participation. So we'll get in touch with you with one more innovative topic. Probably by the next week, you will be notified with another innovative topic, so that you can always spend your quality time and you can join back for the webinar sessions at Texas American University. Thank you, one and all, once again. Bye bye.